This was insane to witness as the Denver Broncos edge out the Tennessee Titans and take a first win in their home opener of the 2025 NFL season. But it doesn't come easily. A tough game offensively for the Denver Broncos and a game where the defense primarily took charge and gave the Broncos the win over the Tennessee Titans, led by the number 1 overall quarterback draft pick, Cameron Ward. A crazy game, a lot of things to go over regarding stats and performance from a lot of specific players on the Denver Broncos roster. And most importantly, talking about, regardless of the fact that they were able to scrape away a win, what does this mean for the future, for the next few games on the docket for the Denver Broncos as they are set to face some tougher opponents in the coming weeks. Welcome into Broncos Digest, kicking things off here with the first ever episode of Broncos Digest here on YouTube. And what better way to kick things off than right after the first game of the 2025 NFL season, where the Denver Broncos were able to take a win over the Tennessee Titans. Very good stuff from the Broncos today. We're going to dive into all of that in just a second here. Thank you guys so much for your support with this new channel. Please, if you can, if you're a Broncos fan, if you're an NFL fan, hit that subscribe button. Please join the Broncos Digest family. We're brand new. We are just now starting. This is the fastest growing source for Denver Broncos news and updates and content. This is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about the Denver Broncos. We're giving it to you all right here at Broncos Digest. So please exit out of the video, hit that subscribe button, join the Broncos Digest family. Thank you guys for your support. Excited to see this channel hopefully explode and grow, especially considering the fact that the Broncos have officially kicked off their season. And let's, with that, dive into the conversation today. The Broncos edge out the Tennessee Titans, a dominant second half performance and a defensive amazing shutout from the Broncos essentially gives them this win. It was a rocky game in some regards. The offense was struggling. There was some other things that happened as well. Some little mistakes that need to be tweaked. A lot to learn from, as some of the players said in their post-game press conferences, but also a lot to be proud of and a lot to utilize and take in looking forward into the coming weeks where the Broncos will face some different opponents looking into the future. But nevertheless, getting an NFL win is hard as it is. So just to be in the win column and to kick things off with a W, doesn't matter how it happened. Obviously, a lot of speculation heading into this game was that the Broncos were going to blow out the Titans. But you got to hand it to Tennessee and Cam Ward and some of those other guys on the offense. They put up a darn good fight, especially in the first half. They were holding the Broncos to a very tight score and making things interesting. Just got to give credit to Cam Ward as well. First game, making his rookie debut after being selected number 1 overall by the Titans. And I think that he played very well. Had a very good game, considering that it was his NFL debut today in Denver, in the Mile High City. So with that, let's dive into some of the stats on the Broncos side, starting off with the quarterback, our savior, Bo Nix. Talk a little bit about what he was able to do offensively today and where some of his struggles lied. He was 25 for 40, 176 yards, averaged 4.4 yards per throw, had a touchdown, but had 2 interceptions, both some tough interceptions that he threw. I remember one of them targeting Courtland Sutton and was a little bit short on the throw. So a little bit of a tough day, tough start for Bo Nix, making his first appearance as a second-year quarterback. He wrapped up a phenomenal rookie year last year with 29 passing touchdowns. But, you know, first game of the season, a lot for him to learn from. Definitely a rough start from the quarterback standpoint. 25 for 40, not the best numbers. Like I said, able to get that one passing touchdown, but he had more interceptions than touchdowns and a lot of things that he can improve on from a quarterback standpoint. We'll dive a little bit more into Bo Nix in just a second. But I also want to talk about the running back room and the Denver rushing that we had today. RJ Harvery, the rookie, and J.K. Dobbins, who came from the Los Angeles Chargers on a 1-year deal with Denver. They had 70 and 63 yards respectively, and 50 of those 70 yards for RJ Harvery came in one explosion of a run, a 50-yard gain. It was amazing to see these two guys cook, and that 50-yard run was good for the longest Denver rushing play by a running back since November of 2022. So Really amazing stuff coming from this running back room. The fact that we broke that record from November of 2022 in the first game of the season, and we saw these guys combine for 133 yards and a touchdown for J.K. Dobbins as well. That is a massive green flag for Denver looking forward. The fact of the matter is that running and the running back room has been one of the primary struggles for Denver in the past. They have not had a strong running game, and they've had to rely heavily on the passing game, as well as their quarterback, Bo Nix, and his ability to try to get yards in the form of rushing. So this is a really strong point and something to be really excited about as well. Just circling back a little bit to talk about Bo Nix and his 2 interceptions. He had a fumble as well, so that's 3 turnovers all in the hands of Bo Nix. He thought that both times he had a decent vision. It's obviously, for him, it was a 50-50 if he was going to be able to get that ball over the defender and into the hands of his receiver, but he was not able to do so. I remember seeing both of those interceptions. They were thrown pretty short. And, once again, props to the Tennessee Titans defense for getting those 3 turnovers throughout the game, really taking advantage of some struggles that the Broncos had throughout the game. But anything that we struggled with offensively, it was made up for defensively. This is always how it's been. It's looking like it's going to be like this again this year. Denver Broncos defense wins games. It is just how this team functions. It's how it works. And when you have electric players on your defensive roster like Nick Bonitto, Pat Surtain II, and Riley Moss, just to name a few, this is how you're going to win games, getting the defensive stops, getting the defensive plays. You think of one of the biggest mistakes in the entire game, a punt return that was dropped out of the hands of Marvin Mims Jr. Titans get put in a position to score a go-ahead touchdown, at a minimum, potentially kick a field goal. The Denver Broncos defense storms out on the field, makes an insane stop, pushing them all the way back out of field goal range to eliminate any chance of scoring. So just an electric performance defensively. Let's go over a little bit of some of the specific aspects of the defense that was so perfect for Denver today. Patrick Surtain did not allow a catch as the nearest defender on his 34 coverage snaps for the 8th time in his career today in the home opener against Tennessee. He was targeted only 1 time, breaking up his lone target. He lined up against Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver 1 for the Tennessee Titans, on 27 of his 32 routes for 84%. He just continues to be one of the best corners in the league. He was the defensive player of the year last year, and it's looking like he's going to make a case to run it back and win that award 2 straight years. Nick Bonitto, who just recently signed an extension with the Denver Broncos. He's here for the long term. He made each and every single person involved in the Denver Broncos, no matter what facet within the organization, teammate, fan, they made that contract worth it, and everyone can feel good that he signed and is going to stick around for the long run. He generated a career high 9 pressures on 22 pass rushes, including 5 quick pressures, all under 2.5 seconds, and a sack in the Broncos Week 1 win. The newly extended edge rusher, generated 7 of his pressures against the left tackle, Dan Moore. Masterclass performance from Nick Bonitto. He was, in my opinion, the player of the game for the Denver Broncos today. Just so much strength, so many green flags from what Nick Bonitto was able to do. Patrick Surtain had a lot of really good things to say about his performance and his press conference as well. Just really good stuff coming from Nick Bonitto. The Broncos defense as a whole today, 5 sacks by 5 different players, 3.4 yards per carry allowed, no Titans over 30 yards receiving, and 0 touchdowns allowed. Absolutely electric stuff from the Denver Broncos defense. It is quite literally the reason that we were able to win that game. So impressive and so awesome that they were able to put up that amazing of a performance. And in the second half, the Titans had a net -2 yards in the second half. The Mile High defense is just different. It's just how it is. It's just how it's always been. And like I said, it's essentially why we were able to get away with that win. And to round things out with the defensive conversation, Nick Bonitto got a lot of attention for something that he did. Like we talked about, he was one of the, I believe it was actually 6 players who had a sack, 6 sacks, 6 different players. He had the first one of the game, and he hit an insane celly after he got that sack. It's the celebration that Cam Ward, would do during his time playing at Miami. I'm sure we'll see it a little bit throughout his NFL career as well, but no passing touchdowns, no touchdowns at all for Cam Ward today. No opportunity to do this celebration. 12 points all coming from field goals for the Tennessee Titans today. But Nick Bonito, oh my gosh, that celly was insane. And just, I mean, great way to really, put the nail in the coffin for the Broncos defense being the essentially sole reason that we were able to win this game and come out on top and start off the season 1-0. Now, looking ahead into the future, we got the win. A win is a win. I always like to say in the NFL, good teams win games even when they play badly. So the Broncos offense, a lot of struggles today, a lot of things to work on, a lot of things to tweak. But the most important part is that they got the win. That is what's really matters about this whole situation. So they're 1-0 now. They have a winning record. But looking ahead, the Indianapolis Colts had a ridiculously dominant win today. They put up 33 points, and they're 1-0 now as well. What is it going to look like for the Denver Broncos to play against a team like Indianapolis who's capable of scoring that many points? 33 points in their season opener today. Now the question is, the Broncos defense, are they going to be able to put up just as strong of a performance and hold Indianapolis to less scores to keep that score lower? The other question is, can the Denver Broncos offense clean things up? Can Bo Nix get rid of the fumble? Can he get rid of the 2 interceptions? Can he get more active on the rush plays? And can he try to throw deeper, better balls and help us score more touchdowns? That's going to be the difference maker in this next game against the Indianapolis Colts. And it's in Indy as well. First away game of the season. So that's a massive thing to consider as far as this next game for the Denver Broncos. If they want to get a win, if they want to stay undefeated, they have to fix some of those offensive tweaks. Another thing that I'm excited to see, we talked about how strong the running back room looked today, but, the Tennessee Titans, not the greatest team defensively in the league. Colts might put that running back room up to a little bit more of a challenge. And so we're going to get to look at that and see how it goes next week when the Broncos and the Colts face off for week 2. And then the week after that, they play the Los Angeles Chargers, who just had a very strong win in Sao Paulo, Brazil over the Kansas City Chiefs. They took them down 27-21. Justin Herbert looked absolutely unreal in that game. And I think that just goes to show that hopefully the Broncos can get a little bit better of a game, get kind of more on their feet, more experienced for this next game against the Indianapolis Colts, and really get ready for their first of 2 against who I think is going to be the toughest competitor in the AFC West this year. Super exciting stuff. So hyped that the Broncos are back and that the NFL is going again. I cannot wait to see this team continue to develop and continue to thrive throughout the season. And I'm even more excited that we've got a brand new Broncos channel, Broncos Digest, launched and official here on YouTube. And like we said earlier, if you love the Broncos, hit that subscribe button. Join the Broncos Digest family. We're hoping to be the fastest growing source for Broncos news as of today. Thank you guys so much for your support and for tuning in to the first video here on Broncos Digest. More to come soon. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.